Hello and welcome to Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki and today I'm starting with Vanguard on the paper review. Vanguard is leading with TELECOMS, NLC, TUC, CNG, others reject 50% tariff hike. NLC rallies Nigerians against hike, threatens to mobilize workers, others to boycott telecom services, says government is in prioritizing corporate profit over citizens' welfare, shocking 50% telecom tariff hike outrageous. That's according to TUC. Northern Group's film demands suspension. Uriwa condemns move, says it's illegal, oppressive. Ike will overstretch workers, masses elastic patient. That's according to MSA. Nigeria heading towards unpredictable disaster. JF wants and Terrap others threaten to sue. You can see that story on page 5. And on page 9, birthright citizenship. Nigerians in diaspora kick says it's illegal. Trump okays immigration's raid of churches, schools, and hospitals. Bandit inflow, Southwest governors not collaborating with us. That's according to Gani Adams, OPC, and hunters. And here on sports, we have on page 30, Lukman's irreplaceable. That's according to Atlanta coach. Above the banner on page 19, we have manufacturers unsold goods. Today I'm starting with Vanguard on the paper review. Vanguard is leading with telecoms, NLC, TUC, CNG, others reject 50% tariff hike. NLC rallies Nigerians against hike, threatens to mobilize workers, others to boycott telecom services, says government is in prioritizing corporate profit over citizens' welfare, shocking 50% telecom tariff hike outrageous. That's according to TUC. Northern Group's film demands suspension. Uriwa condemns move, says it's illegal, oppressive. Ike will overstretch workers, masses elastic patient. That's according to MSA. Nigeria heading towards unpredictable disaster. JF wants and Terrap others threaten to sue. You can see that story on page 5. And on page 9, birthright citizenship. Nigerians in diaspora kick says it's illegal. Trump okays immigration's raid of churches, schools, and hospitals. Bandit inflow, Southwest governors not collaborating with us. That's according to Gani Adams, OPC, and hunters. And here on sports, we have on page 30, Lukman's irreplaceable. That's according to Atlanta coach. Above the banner on page 19, we have manufacturers unsold goods topped 1.4 trillion naira in 2024. That's according to MAN. Presidency proposes a stricter sanction on airlines over flight delays and cancellation. WEF 2025, Nigeria global leaders target $29 trillion African economy by 2050. PDP crisis, support Damagum or leave elected deputies tell opponents. You can see that story on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. Now, The Guardian. Guardian leading story says, costly by-election worry INEC as IPAC demands credible polls. You can see that on page 6. On page 29, doctors protest on paid salaries, ground Abuja hospitals. 50% tariff hike insufficient. Sale telecoms amid pushback by subscribers. Lagos warns against sharing child pornography, threatens 14-year jail term. UCH students protest 82 days of blackout and harsh environment. Tinubu spent 300 billion naira on Abuja satellite towns in 12 months. Court sentences Abuja bishop to 20 years for rape. 22 deaths, 143 confirmed cases of Lassa fever recorded in 2 weeks. Lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, NWC seized of Darago worries over PDP's future. That can be seen on page 13 of the Guardian. The Nation's leading story this morning says NLC, TUC, CNG reject 50% telecom tariff hike. Labour, it is ill-timed and insensitive. Northern groups demand immediate reversal. It's a good takeoff point, says operators. FCCPC to monitor compliance by service providers. That can be seen on page 4. Financial sector regulators rules out hyperinflation. Why Damagu should continue in office till December by NWC members. Proxy war killing main opposition party. Ekremadu's wife returns from United Kingdom prison. Okwebolo recruits 500 teachers. Above the banner, we have NUC, pharmacy, physiotherapist, optometry, now 6-year courses that can be seen on page 4. United Kingdom to obtain collaboration with Nigeria on democracy. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, we have kidnapper suspect arrested after receiving 1 million naira ransom that can be seen on page 27. And lastly, the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with Kano-Niger Republic Rail Project. Community tackles federal government over compensation for 3,252 owners. Project continues despite Nigeria-Niger tension. 5,531 persons dissatisfied with compensation. That can be seen on page 2. On page 16, Enugu community celebrates Ekwemadu's wife return from United Kingdom jail. Mass deportation. United States target churches, mosques, schools, and hospitals. Again, Ayahu Udeokoye clash over PDP's secretary's seat. Group asks Inspector General to probe controversial video on Mohbad's death. Alaafin Owode put traditional rights on hold, returns to Canada. Above the banner, we have troops close in on bandits leader Torji, kill commanders and 24 militants. APC Labour Party back INEC on by-elections, demand Falana's proposal. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, we have oil exploration. Mossad faults Tinubu's meeting. Monarchs begin consultation. That can be seen on page 2. And that's all we have on the front pages. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of this. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Mayowa Oludare. He's a publisher, Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, Damola. Nice to be here today.
Yes, it's good to have you. Now let's move straight to what we're talking about today, and we're talking about the telecom. So outrage yesterday, it showed the federal government's approval of a 50% hike in telecommunications tariff, with Nigeria Labour Congress as NLC rallying Nigerians to reject another harsh burden, and also threatening to mobilize workers to boycott telecom services. What do you think about the 50% tariff hike and the approval for federal government?
Thank you very much. Number one, when you look at the telecom sector, it's primarily driven by private sectors. That's private investments, not public investments. And private investment runs after money, and the reward for investments is the profit they make. So if you look at the way they have operated and in the kind of environment we are operating, economic reform by the present administration, you find that the increase in tariff is actually necessitated by what is going on in the economy today, the prevailing economic situation, the devaluation of the naira, the growing inflations, and the high costs of maintenance, wages increase, and the rest. So definitely we expect investors to actually look at holistically at the environment and what are the benefits they are going to gain. Are they going to be running at a loss or running with profit? And be capitalists, for example, they expect to run with profits. So we in Nigeria, actually should have been expecting the increase in tariff since last year, so to say. Why am I saying this? We are seeing all the prices in the economy going up. Fuel price has gone up, food price has gone up, wages has gone up, and everything has gone up. And operating in the same environment, you don't expect the price or the tariff of telecom, the cost of their services to remain static. And so for me, you can't say it's justified, but blame the economy, so to say, for the increase. That's what I would say. If you are operating in a particular environment, and your price is static, then definitely unless the variables remain static, what are the cost of your input to your service, then you can maintain a stable price. So from the economic point of view, the telecom companies are justified in increase in tariff approved by the NCC. But in other words, when you look at the parameters prevailing economy, will the consumer be able to afford the increased cost? The answer is in between. Definitely, many people will drop on the wayside. Many people reduce their use of those services based on cost. You can see that happen in the transport industry. Price of transport and fare has gone up. Even the private individuals that carry their vehicles up, run their vehicle every day, majority are reduced the number of days they put their vehicles on the road. So we are going to see that repeated in the telecom sector as well. As far as once the tariff increase, then we are going to see drop in usage and other area of services in that sector. And we're going to look at the implications to the economy generally, because we are driven by dictators services these days. So what's the impact going to have on the economy is what people should be looking at really.
But how effective can NLC and TUC be in mobilizing a boycott of telecom services? And what impact do you think such actions will have?
I don't see how they can mobilize people to boycott. Will they ask you to drop your phone at home or not buy data or credit to your phone so that you want to protest the increase? Consider the importance of the usage of your mobile phone, consider the usage of the data for your business and the rest. So I'm not seeing the labor being able to mobilize people to boycott the services. Telecom service is an essential service to both individual and corporates and even public sector. So mobilizing for them to boycott what are the alternative? Why are they providing alternative for the people to use for that period of boycott? Yeah, I agree that there should be a signal to send a signal to both the government and the operator that no, they can minimize the increase. But boycotting, I'm not seeing that happen really. So, except probably I'm not reading right.
But what alternative measures do you think this advocacy group can propose to counter these tariff hike instead of the other boycotting?
I think what they should focus our attention on is the government. In the area of involvement of government, in the area of operating environment, there are many of the base stations of the telecoms that are being vandalized by people, and they have to replace those equipment. They have to provide security to carry those equipment. There are power in this part of the world has gone to abnormal level, declining power supply. So they have to provide either solar or diesel to power their generator. These are the areas the government can come in actually to improve the environment. Both the NLC and the advocates of moderate tariff should focus on government. How can government come in to improve the operating environment? In terms of security, for example, if there's security for the base stations of the telecom sector, there won't be vandalization and there won't be a need for them to replace those vandalized equipment. And if there's an adequate power supply, there won't be a need for them to invest heavily on alternative power supply to their base stations. And there are so many things government can do in terms of regulation, the cost of fee renewals, in terms of taxations, double taxations, in terms of other factors that go into this operation. The government can help to reduce those costs. Then we can see a payback or a give back to the consumer. From I don't like, but apart from that, I don't see anything anybody can do to curb the increase. Don't forget that the telecom operators asked for 100% increase, but government actually agreed to increase by 50%. So even we can imagine the increase for 50%, the impact on individuals and corporates using those services. So government, the focus will be on advocating that government should make the economy prevailing, conducive for business to thrive. Otherwise, you are still going to face some. In few years' time, if things do not improve, cost of borrowing is rising. If telecom company borrow to buy equipment at the rate of 30%, for example, probably 25% for commercial power, whatever, then those additional costs to the operation, and they have to get it from somewhere to be able to pay their debt. So these are things that government need to really work on to ensure that we have a conducive environment so that the same price going on everywhere should be minimized.
All right, let's move away from that and talk about this one. The Association of Resident Doctors and the FCT or administration on Wednesday began a 3-day warning strike over unpaid salaries, allowances, and other demands. And if you can recall, the association they previously issued a 21-day ultimatum to FCT Minister Yeson Wike that it should by December 20 that it should meet its demand before they went on this their 3-day warning strike. What do you think about this, and how do you think this strike will impact the healthcare sector, especially in the FCT?
Unfortunately, the crop of medical personnel keep declining in every day. Majority of them are migrating outside this country to greener pasture, and the few that remain to carry out the functions are not being compensated by regular payment of their fee. And this is where the FCT minister who is galvanizing all over the place, causing trouble in his own state. We should focus on key element that can give the people of the city the vision of democracy. These are essential services that ought to have been given priority by the ministers, rather than the noise we are hearing about construction of roads and the rest. There should be priority to wages. The liberal decide their wages. So, if for example, if any of the officials in the FCC are sick today, they run abroad for medical attention, because they could not use the local here. But what happened to the people who are using those facilities? And if the doctors are on strike, who will attend to the patient in those places? Those are things that I expect the minister to actually address holistically and focus on. This is the core of his responsibility as minister in that state. Wages should not be denied to those who deserve it. And consider the fact that the wages you are paying are probably not able to address the issue of living costs, which is going on every day. So I appeal to the minister to focus to address these people. They are essential. They are spending their time. They are risking their time. Also, I have some friends who are doctors in public sector. If you know the amount of people, number of people they are attending to every day, because they are under stress, because the numbers are reduced considerably, so they have to overwork them. So if you are overworking some people and yet you are not paying them their wages, then it is immoral for me, and it's not good enough for government to do that.
Now, the government and the people keep saying that the doctors are relocating, and most of them are leaving the country. Now, limiting increasing the number of patients that each doctor still in Nigeria needs to attend to. So, with all of this, not managing the health sector very well, don't you think it's also discouraging other health workers in Nigeria?
Yeah, of course. Many of them, if they have alternative, if they have insurance, or if they have probably get their way, they would have probably leave this country without any restraint. And that's unfortunate, really, because the reason why we are seeing our sector keep deteriorating is because our public officials find alternative abroad. If there's a law that bans public officials from traveling abroad for medical attention, then there will be a focus on ensuring that the local facilities and local personnel are well taken care of. But as long as we have these top officials able to fly abroad or to other countries and to attend to their own medical needs and lead the masses to make do with what is available here, and the more we have this facility not being taken care of. And for me, that should be focus of our labor union, really. So that mounting prayer on the public official to ensure that we improve on services in this essential area. People are dying because there are people who go to hospital today because there are no best place to admit them, because there are not enough personnel to attend to them. The people are dying from minor sickness that ought to not have killed them. Already a tribute, one member of my group wrote about the mother, and he said the mother died not because the sickness was so severe, that because the medical facilities were very poor, and she could not be attended to in time. And these are the stories across board where we see people going to hospital, they cannot find space for them in the hospital, they cannot find doctor to attend to them, and they die from minor ailments that also can be treated, in such a way. So government should focus on improving. I mean, it's not enough for what to do, say we are doing economic reform. We're not taking care of the basic need of the people. Food, cost of food is going up, cost of living is going up, yet people do not have access to take care of their health. It's just double jeopardy for the citizen. So I mean, we can only appeal to them because they have the lever of government in their hands. They can do, and probably most of them are not there by the grace of the people. So we can only appeal to them that say, please do the right thing so that people will not die from unnecessary death.
All right, let's move away from that and talk about this one. Construction work has intensified on the $1.96 billion Kano-Maradi rail project, despite the strained relationship between the federal government and the military junta in Niger after a law. The Nigerian government, they had accused President Bola Tinubu administration of plotting to destabilize the francophone country. So, what do you think about the project continuing despite all of the issues between the two countries?
Don't forget that the contract was signed during the administration of past president, that's President Muhammad Buhari, and don't forget that they borrowed money from China to prosecute that project too. So I don't know. Probably there's a way they can reverse it or stop the constructions. What we can only advise the government to do is probably to limit one of the challenges we face in this country that government embark on projects. That's why we have white elephant projects in this country without putting into context the economic implication, the economic factor. What are the benefits to the people? What are the payback if you put this project in this place? What are the payback? What are the economic gain for Nigeria in building a train, a railway, a rail line to Maradi to Niger? What are the major factors? What are the major export or import from that sector? In the West African region. So these are factors that ought to have informed the decision to build such projects. But we are not seeing that happen in most of the projects we are seeing today. People are just fancy the president or whoever is in the power, say, okay, I want to do this project, and they get back on it without the necessary environmental impacts and all that other review before they embark on it. That's why we are seeing this thing today. But for me, I'm not seeing how this present government want to stop it because they already borrowed the money. Probably the money has been disposed to the contractors. Probably there's a condition attached to the construction so that we know about it in general law. Probably that could be the reason why the government is continuing. I can't say. We're just conjecture what could have been the issue. But primarily we understand that that project is unnecessary. We have not completed the south-north connection we are not connected even Ibadan to beyond Ibadan to Abuja, for example, the north where we have people transporting, reducing private costs in that area, bringing food from the north to the south. We're not done that one. Why are we doing it to the Niger? What are the economic benefits to us? So for me, it's unnecessary project. But of course, the state it is today, I don't know what government will do. Probably cannot discontinue it. That's why they are continuing it. Or if I were to say anything, that project has not passed the test, necessary test to justify its implementation.
But the rail project, which will be completed in 2026, was expected to displace 12,695 homes and 2,464 assets on the railway corridor. But I said out of the 20.325 billion naira that was earmarked for asset valuation, only 12.307 billion naira had been paid to 16,000 plus of the 19,284 enumerated persons, and also about 5,000 plus persons are said to be dissatisfied with the compensation that the federal government paid to them.
We are going to continue to have this problem because as long as government, if you have a master plan in the country, in the master plan, we have map out various routes for roads, for rail, for other, for even electricity, for telecom, cable, and the rest. We have been mapped out in the master plan. So when people are building, when people are moving to a new location, all these routes will have been mapped out in the layout so that people will not encroach to those routes or to those pathway or to the right of ways. But because we don't have such plan for our country, we are not for futuristic in our planning. So people move to a location only to discover later that government want to build a road, just wake up when they want to build a road and start destroying people's investment, people's properties without proper compensation. That is not good enough. And I will urge the government and what government. That's one thing the study would have done, before they embarking on that project. If they have done those assessments, they would have known that the huge cost of compensation, maybe that will discourage the construction of those roads, or they find a way of getting the resources to compensate those who fall in the right of ways. If they have not carried out, but if they have not carried out the survey, then the needful thing for government to do is to pay those people and to compensate them for the inconvenience and the displacement which the consolidated project is bringing to them. And they should not deny them that whatever the way they can find the money, let them pay those people so that they can have a relief at least. Because displacing people is not easy. Moving from where a place you have been used to, you have grown over the years, suddenly you are being moved, yet you have been displaced, yet you have been not being compensated by the government. That is not fair enough. And the government should properly address such issue.
All right, let's say this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking is Mr. Mr. says, women are strange. They carry handbag, shoulder bag, clutch, and purse at the same time. For what? I don't know. And Mrs. replied, why do men have breast pockets, side pockets, and trouser pockets in one dress? Some even have pockets on their boxers.
It's not an exaggeration, really. And it's also to push back, that's a pushback from the missus to the husband, because it's not that you find a needless thing what you guys do. Carry one big bag as if you are traveling and carry all manner of things around. But it's a part of the makeup of a woman, so we are used to that. And Mr. is used to that. So those pushback of side pockets, boxer pockets are just a pushback.
I guess Mr. is complaining because we have to assist to carry one of the bags.
Of course, now when you are going out, you are carrying two bags, and one probably won't carry your makeups, one carries your other things, and we wonder what are those needs for, but it's part of the compliment and fashion of the women. So that we keep wondering what are those things all about. We can't understand you guys. We'll give up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayowa, for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having today. And regards to everyone.
Yes.
Have a lovely day.
Yeah, and you too. All right, do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms to get more of our top stories. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardasia.com. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Have a lovely Thursday.